Hey everybody, it's Connery from the Conan GHcast here, and I finally picked up Pokemon X. So I've decided to take some time out today to talk to you about it, express my likes and dislikes about it, all the new features it added that I like and dislike, and my overall perspective on the 15 hours of Pokemon X I have played to date. So Pokemon X came out October 12, 2013, making me have picked it up roughly 6 months after it came out. And I think I'm better for it. If I had picked it up on launch, I think my perception would have been muddied by the fact that it's a new Pokemon game, as was when Pokemon X came out. When a new Pokemon game comes out and I get it at launch, I think I'm just too excited and I end up not finishing them like I did with Pokemon X. I played 6 hours of Pokemon X and ended up losing all the hype because I got it as it came out. Nobody was really talking about it. There was no preset discussion that I could look at. There was no guides if I got stuck anywhere. So I just got bored with it, I'm gonna say. But that is not the case with Pokemon X. Because I got it half a year after it came out, I've been able to use everything from the start, from the get-go. I've been able to use Wonder Trade, Right, GTS, Player Search, everything. If I get stuck in a place, I can just Google the walkthrough or a guide. There are already guides up for EV training, for Pokemon X Nuzlocke, everything. So everything's set out for me that I want to do. And I think me getting it half a year early or half a year later has benefited me in that sense. So, this is Pokemon's first So this is Pokemon's first entry that's been in 3D on a handheld. And it looks really good. Its battles play out really well. Certain cave sections where the camera is closer to the player character's back look really good. It shows off a lot of color. It's very vibrant. So are the battles. But I have a huge problem with the overworld. It's really bland and lackluster looking. When you're just running around routes where the camera isn't in that specific camera angle, like almost go second person almost. It's like by your back but not over your shoulder. It's not first person. It's a weird look. So I'm going to say second person. When it's not in second person, it looks kind of bland and really boring and almost doesn't look like it's in 3D. You can definitely see the grass is still 2D. There are a lot of 2D assets still being used, but the game still looks really, really good. Battles in 3D are a problem though. Not 3D as the graphics rendering, no, I mean 3D as the gimmick. The 3D tends to fuck up the frame rate. It will make it stop running at about 30 and maybe start running at about 20, 15 FPS. And that's not good when all the effects look really good. All the battle stuff that I've seen in 3D in my 15 hours look awesome, but turning it into 3D mode messes it all up. It makes it look bad. I've realized later in the game, around the third gym where I'm at, the 3D doesn't hurt it that much, and I do like that Nintendo realized that 3D might mess up the frame rate and don't let you turn 3D on in the overworld. I think that's a really clever move, and was originally confused about it in my first hour when I didn't turn 3D on for the battles. I only turned 3D on for about my 5th battle when I started, just to see what it looked like, because I didn't really care about 3D. I played my first 4 hours in a car, so I wasn't in the mood to sit weird to see the 3D. But when I saw it and it messed up the frame rate, it just put me off using 3D at all. At the moment, I only use 3D when Pokemon evolve. Other new additions that I've seen the main one is Fairy type. Whenever Pokemon adds a new type, I've been there for a while. I did start off with Gen 1, so when Steel and Dark was added, I never really found them. If you can get what I'm saying. Like, it's not that they weren't available. I just never caught them because I didn't care about them. I never used Steel and Dark because I didn't like Steel and Dark as a typing. And Fairy's the same kind of thing. I'm not a fan of Fairy. It doesn't seem like all the moves I've seen that Fairy Pokemon have are always lowering attack by doing something cute, and it's kind of pissing me off. So I don't ever use them. I think at this moment, because I have X, I'm probably gonna get Xerneas when I can catch him. But other than I'm not gonna use him. At the moment, I have a couple fairy types, but I don't ever use them. They're just wasting space in my inventory, or not my inventory, my PC, because I don't like their typing. I don't like their moveset so far, and I just haven't found a use for them. In terms of what Pokemon I do like, I usually like a balance of the main types, so water, fire, electricity, and grass, but I don't usually use grass, so I substitute grass with flying or psychic or fighting. Some cool new stuff that I liked was the EXP share change. EXP share used to only give Pokemon that were holding the EXP share EXP, so if I was training and I gave a Dragonair EXP share, it would get a half the EXP that the other Pokemon got in the battle given to it just because it's holding that. The EXP share was changed in the 6th gen, as now every Pokemon gets half the EXP for every battle, and main Pokemon who participate in the battle get full EXP from the battle. In theory, it sounds really, really broken. Like, extremely broken, but it's really cool. It makes grinding really fast. In the 15 hours I'm in, my Pokemon are about level 37, 38, 39. My lowest Pokemon is level 37. And, a lot of people are going to go, that's, now you're cheating, or not cheating, but it's making it too easy. It makes getting the levels to be competitive in competitive battling easier to get. It makes training faster, and I just like that more. So do O-Powers. I think O-Powers are, I forget the name of the thing in Gen 5, but they're like an enhancement of that. Like, O-Powers are a little thing, like little bonuses you can activate that last for a certain amount of time. Like, you can have O-Powers that get you more money from your trainer battles. You can get O-Powers that give you more XP from random battles and trainer battles. You can get ones that give you type bonuses and all that for certain amounts of time. It's actually really cool. I don't usually find a use for it. I only use the prize money one before I fight a gym leader because I have the amulet coin, so I can get a lot of money from gym leaders. Another new thing is Pokemon-Amie. But I don't really care about Pokemon-Amie. It reminds me a lot of Nintendogs, and I don't like Nintendogs. Pokemon-Amie hasn't benefited me at all in my 15 hours. I've used it, and I put about an hour into Pokemon-Amie. I haven't reaped any benefits from it. The two coolest things they added is the PSS and the Super Training. It's just Super Training. Player search system is basically a newly designed wireless communications thing for Pokemon, where anywhere on the overworld you can trade Pokemon. It gives you a little menu. You can trade Pokemon. You can wonder trade. You can do all this stuff. And wonder trading is another new thing I don't have on my list to talk about. Wonder trading is basically gambling trading. You can just give a random Pokemon, get a random Pokemon. It's actually pretty neat. But that's not important. Player search system is. The player search system is just this wireless interface. It's actually really neat, and it makes trading over the internet faster. It makes internet battles or wireless battles faster. It makes everything more worthwhile to play stuff, because I've never been a fan of battling wirelessly because it's just such a chore to go to the Poke Center. But now it's just like a menu tap away on your touchscreen, so it's not that bad. The other edition that's like my favorite edition, Super Training. Super Training is basically a visual representation of EV training, where you don't need to EV train anymore. What it is it's sort of like brain training on the DS, where you have a little like pictogram where you can see everything, you can see all your stats being raised visually, but you can also play little mini games to make your stats higher. This makes EV training really easy and simple, but it makes it so slow. Because I'm not sure if Pokerus does anything to it, because I've only EV trained one Pokemon to date, fully, and I've used Super Training for it. But I'm not sure if Pokerus even gives you more EVs from Super Training. The big thing that I was really excited to hear about was Mega Evolutions. But Mega Evolutions are so post-game that there's no point even thinking about them where I'm at. The only Pokemon I can Mega Evolve now is my Charizard. But doing so is almost game-breakingly, like, it cripples the other, like, your your trainer battle. If you do it, just game breaks almost. So I've done it twice so far, and I like it, and I like what Mega Charizard X looks like. I think he looks awesome. I'm just not going to be doing it that often until I get into competitive battling. Other new stuff are, of course, new Pokemon, as we get in every generation. Almost every main series Pokemon game, that's the beginning of a new generation. So the first games released in the generation, we get new Pokemon. Black, or the Unova generation, fucked up new Pokemon, because they gave us 154 brand new Pokemon. They all sucked. They didn't all suck. There's some nice looking ones. There's some coolly designed ones. But most of them weren't awesome. Most of them weren't cool. Most of them weren't memorable. Most of them were bland and uninspired. And most of us didn't care about them. And they didn't give us any of the familiar. And I think that's where Pokemon wins at life and makes everybody buy everything, is that they give you a certain balance of the familiar and the unfamiliar. And that balance is so key to Pokemon's success that if they don't have it, a generation will be unsuccessful. As shown by Gen 5, Gen 5 didn't have a single remake. Gen 5 had one spin-off game. That's kind of bad. Or I think it also had a mystery dungeon, but other than that, that kind of sucks and is bad. For a generation, at least every generation so far after 2 has had a remake and has had like more than 3 spin-offs. So let's see how 6 goes. 6 is still like only half a year in, but I can sense that new stuff is going to come out for it. And of course, with every new generation of Pokemon, I have some gripes on some stuff I didn't like. The main one is the new Pokemon. There's not enough of them. There's only 69 brand new Pokemon. And as much as I'm trying to stay away from the quantity versus quality thing that Black caused, that problem, I think we should have had at least 100 new Pokemon. Because the 69 we got are actually pretty well designed, are all visually interesting, and are colorful enough to, remember. I would rather have more, like 100 at least. So I want to set a standard, a precedent for Pokemon. Is if you're making a new gen, make 100 new Pokemon per gen, so that we have 100 to see. We're not going to use all 100, but 69 isn't enough to see. 69 makes getting the Pokédex complete for Kalos really easily. Or not really easily, really easy. And it just makes it boring. I mean, in my 15 hours, I think I've seen about 100 Pokemon on the Pokédex. That's probably, I don't want to say it's all of Kalos' Pokemon. I haven't seen the legendaries and all that. But that's not good. Guys, come on. I want to have more Pokemon to see and discover. They also use way too many old Pokemon. As almost, not dex filler, but random encounter filler. they're so like I love the fact that old Pokemon are in it. Gen 1, seeing Gen 1 Pokemon in 3D on my handheld's awesome. I love the art style. It's way better than any of the 3D battle sims that are out on for Pokemon, like the Stadium games, Coliseum, Battle Revolution, because they're cel shaded. It looks great. I would rather have more Kalos Pokemon than just old Gen, like 1, 2, and 3 fillers. There's some Gen 4, but not a lot, and some Gen 5, but I don't even remember any of the Gen 5 Pokemon, so it doesn't matter to me. Another gripe I have is money grinding. Money grinding seems to always be really... Money is always a virtue in Pokemon. Not a virtue. Let's just say money is always available. It's not necessarily required at all, but now it is if you want to get into trainer customization. Money has never really been hard to get in a Pokemon game. You always get a lot of it from trainer battles. So that's not a problem. But the problem now is money isn't that easy to get in Pokemon X. Money is very scarce. It's very limited. All the things you're going to want to buy are super expensive. All the cafes in Lumiose are super expensive to go to. So that's a problem. And they give you stuff like O-Power, prize money, and the amulet coin. But even that's not enough. And I've seen a lot of people complain about the prize money. I've also just complained about it, but I also have a thing of I never buy anything in Pokemon games. I always usually have a Zigzagoon or a Linoone that picks up random items, so I always have enough super potions or hyper potions to do whatever I want to do. So that's never a problem. But I can see where, like, if you want to buy the trainer clothes, that it's going to be a problem. You're not going to have enough money. You're going to have to go to the Battle Chateau a lot. And it's just going to become boring. Another gripe is the rival characters. They're very uninteresting and bland. They're just friends. They're not rivals. They're not competing against you. They go on wacky adventures with you, and that's not what a rival is. That's a friend or a sidekick. And ever since Gen 1 or Gen 2, because I like Gen 2's rival as well, the rivals have just been waning in quality. They become more friend-like, and I'm not saying to get asshole rivals. I'm just saying to get rivals who actually stand as a threat, not a threat. Let's just say they're competitors, not just friends. And then our last gripe, I know I've been griping a lot, is Pokemonomy. I don't care about it. I think it's useless. A lot of people do seem to like Pokemonomy, but I just haven't found a single use for it. I haven't found a single thing I like about it. The minigames are boring. Rubbing a Pokemon with a stylus reminds me too much of Nintendogs, which is a very boring game. And it just seems very boring as a whole. You know, I haven't found any real reason to go do it. Apparently, like, your Pokemon get added stuff in battle. Like, they're gonna, like, the power of love has made your Pokemon want to fight better for you. But other than that, there's no real reason to use it. So away from the gripes and to my likes, yay. Stuff I liked in the new Pokemon was the new XP share, which I have explained earlier in the video. I like the overall region design, and especially the gyms. They're super cool and themed. The region's based off France and it's very pretty. Very interesting, and it's more varied and less contrived than Unova was. Unova was based off America, specifically metropolitan America, I believe, like New York and stuff like that. It's just so boring. But of course, because as in Gen 5, we have the one place where it's different camera angles and it's a ring city. I hate those places in Pokemon games. I forget what it's called in Unova, but I think it's called Lumiose City. Lumiose City is so weird and confusing, and it's game breaking if you save in the outer rings. So if you're getting it, you see another good reason why I got it later is because I didn't have my saves corrupted by Lumiose. If I got it on launch, my save would have been fucked. I would have saved in Lumiose. I would not have a save file anymore. I really do like super training too. Like super training is neat. For the main fact that they give you a visual representation of your EVs. That's the only real thing I really liked about it. Other than that, haven't really cared about it enough to go and use it anymore. I've EV trained one Pokemon, that's about it. I think that's my extent until I finish the game. I really like the two new legendaries, and before I get asked the question, shit, my phone just dropped. Before I get asked the question, which one I like more and why I got X, the reason I got X is because of Mega Charizard looking badass, and I like the color blue more than I like the color red. And my first Pokemon game was red, so I've decided to go the opposite and get blue. I think a lot of people did that. They're like, my first Pokemon was red, so I'm gonna get blue, and my first Pokemon was blue, so I'm gonna get Y. Well, I just called X blue, I realized. But that's the reason. So back to the topic of legendaries. I really, really like Xerneas and Yveltal. I think that's how you say its name. They're really cool looking, and I don't exactly know this Pokemon game's theme for their legendaries, as I also didn't really know what Gen 5's theme was for their legend. Reshiram and it's not Zenoa. Reshiram and Zorak or something like that. I didn't know their themes at all, but they look cool. They look like robots. They were really cool looking Pokemon. So I'm gonna go with genetics. Are these Pokemon's theme? Are these legendaries in this generation's theme? Because there's a huge focus on IVs with the legendaries. I've heard that they have at least something like 3 perfect IVs or 2. I'm not sure, and that's cool. And there are 2 chromosomes, X and Y chromosomes. So I would assume that they're based off genetics, but I don't know about the Z one. I forget its name. I almost called it Seviper. What's its name now? It's not Zenoa. Fuck, why does the name Zenoa keep popping up? But yeah, the legendaries are cool. Even the Z one, I forget its Zygarde. See Zygotes. The other legendaries are just Gen 1 ones, and there's a weird dancing one that's going to be a mystery gift soon that looks interesting enough, but I'm not going to get it, as I didn't with the Gen 5 legendaries and Gen 4 legendaries that they added over mystery gift, like what's it called, the grass one, Shaman or something. Shamu. Its new name is Shamu. The visuals. The game looks great. It's very colorful. I love its look. I love the France look. I love just the UI and the HUD, and it's super simple looking now. The HUD, everything's there. Everything you'd want to be in 3D and how it looks is probably what you want it to. The character trainer models have a very Gen 5 in 3D look. Like, big heads, weird, like, triangular-ish bodies. Like, it looks like an upside-down triangle, so the point is at the bottom and it's going up, is what they remind me of. Sort of like Mii's. Very blank things. They do look alright, though. I'm sure it won't, be game-breaking how the character models look, but they look really good. Overall, just the visuals are great. I didn't expect it to look so good, except for running around the overworld. Sometimes looks bad, sometimes not great, but most times awesome. And the last thing I really liked was the music. It's all this really cool French style, as it should be, because Kalos is French themed. But the music's really cool, and it's to date some of the highest quality music in a Pokemon game. Highest bitrate, highest what's it called? Highest sound quality. It doesn't sound digitized at all. It sounds almost near CD quality. It sounds great. And this beanbag chair is itchy. Um, but yeah, that's my overall talk about Pokemon X. I'm glad if you enjoyed the STEMI podcast look at Pokemon X, what I liked and disliked, please like and subscribe, comment if you will. I hope to get more of these out if you did like this. If you didn't, then I don't know what to do for you. I'll try my best. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.